Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound chamber. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying round the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, blue jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot the death, oh yes, these other sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat stick. I got what you need.
Just like each and every week, we hope we got what y'all need. But let's Seven the Panther tell y'all, we definitely got what y'all need. This is your boy, the mayor, a DJ named Ace 5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa, back with the newest episode of the Star 5 podcast. As always, top, if y'all can see through the light, top right corner, top left corner, however you're looking at the screen, hit that QR code to hit to our link tree to get everything under the sun on the Star 5. But next to me, he's kicking off the show with me. You've seen the homie for the past couple weeks. Always a welcome guest, consistent contributor.
That's good, man. Appreciate you having me on. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we you coming real. You might have to be a permanent member soon, man, because consistency is key here, and consistency you have been showing for sure, man. No JP this week. He'll be back. He's got a couple things to do. TJ will be on in a few minutes, man. But Jamal, how's everything been? How's your week going and all that good stuff?
Everything is everything, man. I can't complain. Temperature dropping, trying to navigate through the work week. Watching my Knicks, having, lamenting my Giants. You know how it goes. So it's up and down, but it is what it is.
Yo, peace to C Double, and he's on the YouTube. Peace to C Double and the Pull No Punches podcast. My girl Shemaine, DOA, everybody over there, man. Big ups to y'all. But yeah, man. I mean, there's been a lot going on. I didn't see the Canelo Plant fight, but I did see the knockout just a few minutes ago before we started, man. Did you watch that fight? Let us know how it went if you did.
I did watch the fight, and shout out to the homie C-Ray. It's another dominant performance by Canelo, man. Plant went in, he had a good first round, maybe good first 2 rounds. Working the jab, working his footwork. She's a slick defensive fighter, but somewhere in those first 6 minutes, he tasted some power and made that business decision that he was just going to try and survive. So he was trying to win that fight with just a jab only. He was afraid to let his hands go because he didn't like what was coming back to him. So, and as you're not going to beat Canelo with somebody who says Caleb faceplant. It's crazy.
He beat that boy ass.
You're not going to beat Canelo with just jabs. You can't keep him if you're not going to be able to keep him at bay. He wasn't fighting to win. He mailed it in early, man. And then at that point, it was inevitable that Canelo was just going to be the lumberjack chopping down the tree, bro. That tree was going to fall, and he caught him.
Yeah, I just had to laugh at because like I said, I didn't get to see the fight, but I still seen all the pre-fight shit, and I thought he wasn't going to lose to no white boy. But speaking of our resident white boy, what up, TJ?
Oh man, damn, bro.
It's just too easy. I'm
What kind of
sorry, yo.
timing is that, yo? That
What's
was an ill
good?
segue right there. What's good, fam?
What's happening, yo?
What's
See
good,
you
Mr.
rocking the
Jamal?
Knicks
What's
hat.
good? Oh,
We
heavy.
rocking our Knicks hat, and you know what? Y'all two can have at it because I picked incorrectly last week. As before we get into our games of the week, as always, your Sunday football watch along. But as we get into the games of the week, y'all got it right. Y'all chose with your hearts. I chose with what I thought was my brain. My brain lost. We beat them Bucks as Jamal picked them as the game of the week last week.
We did. We did. And I'm glad I went against him because my streak is solid, bro.
Oh, you picked the Bucks too.
Yeah, I did pick the
Oh,
Bucks
oh,
because
see, so only Jamal got it right.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't see the Knicks matching up with them. But
Likewise.
I didn't realize Chris Middleton was out either, but we take our dubs any way we can get them.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jamal,
That's right.
You could gloat a little bit. Go ahead.
That's right. I
And
felt that win coming, man. We played them pretty good, pretty tough last year too, and
We
that was
did.
without. And I had a the Bucks can blow you out by 40 or lose by 40, and
and of
you know
course, it's breaking up.
them coming up against the Knicks, my bad, I'm still breaking up.
You're all right right now. You're all right now.
All right, yeah, it's hard to prepare for the Knicks right now because you don't know which guy is going to beat you.
True indeed,
Yeah,
TJ.
yeah. RJ's really stepped his game up. He's looked like he's coming into his own. The last 5 games, he's averaged 26, 5 and 7, I think, like 5 rebounds and 7 assists, something ridiculous. Um, if he continues at this pace and it can average 20, 21 points a game, Knicks are going to be a real tough out come later this season because Randall's going to get his buckets. You got Rose coming off the bench. He's going to give you at least 15 to 18 solid. If we can get Fournier or Walker to give us 12 to 15 points, that's a formidable lineup. And anything we get from Mitch is bonus at that point in terms of putbacks and
That's it.
rebounds. So Noel Nerlens came back and played excellent defense against the Bucks. That's also what helped spark that turnaround. Um, Dude
Yeah,
had like
man, he
something
did a
like
really good
nine.
job on you
Yeah,
know,
on Giannis, he had something like 9
yeah,
deflections in the game. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. He had a couple of blocks. He looks like he's in shape. Like he looked like he's ready to rock. Like he didn't seem tired at all. His motor was good.
mhm,
Um, Dude is solid. Like that's a real 1-2 punch. Like you really lose nothing when you sub Mitch for Noel. You know what I'm
just
saying? Like
constant rim protection, man.
yeah, that's got to be annoying. That's got to be frustrating, especially for your bench unit coming off. Your bench
Mhm,
unit's getting nothing at that point.
mhm,
And we're just coming downhill. Rose is really taking the offense and really running with it downhill. Toppin's running like a madman off the wing, and
mhm.
quickly can get his shot back a little bit. Like I said, we make for a formidable squad. We're a very deep team this year.
Yes,
Where if
sir.
we lose a part outside of Randall, we're still good. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? So I like the way we're rounding up. I just really can't wait to see us clicking on all cylinders. Like when
yeah.
everybody's understanding the flow of the offense, you don't have to be the hero every night type deal.
Mhm,
And you just let the game come to you. And we're going to be a dangerous team. I don't know how far that can take us, but I think we can get pretty deep.
yeah.
We
Our
still need a
baller,
closer. We
our
still need a closer.
ballers, our baller and savior RJ though is doing his thing this year so far.
He
Yes,
did.
sir.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
did.
His defense is incredible, and he's picking up that offense. And with those two rim protectors, with Mitch and Nerlens protecting the paint that way, that helps us a little bit. We can get a little suspect when we have Kemba and Fournier out there guarding on the 3-point line, and not having to worry about that paint. Covers up some of the deficiencies. So
Well, if
um,
they can force everybody off the line and in towards Mitch and Noel, that saves us. That's a
There you
huge
go.
help right there.
Yeah.
I give it this. I'm impressed with Fournier's team defense. He does help very well.
Hmm.
Individually, he's lacking like lateral movement. He's going to get beat off the dribble a little bit. And Kemba the same way because Kemba's just coming off that injury and he's not the same
Right.
Kemba. But if
Hmm.
they can find out how to funnel the defense into the middle of the paint, we stand a better
That's it.
chance that way. We
100%, man.
definitely.
Yeah, but it's about time we get into these games of the week. 3 NBA this week, 2 NFL. Jamal, where do you want to start? With the NBA, if you want to go NBA, unless you got a game, pick a day of the week. I read the games. NFL, as you said, you should know what's what so far. But
Hmm.
go ahead, it's on you. Which way do you want to go?
So I'm gonna go NBA first. We're gonna start with today, and with the Nets and Raptors.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Raptors on the upset.
Mm.
They're long. They're annoying to play. Um, the Nets can be disrupted. I don't know what's going. Harden's still finding his way. It just feels like an upset to me over there. Um, I'm also gonna go with tomorrow with the Nets and go ahead.
One at a time, brother. One at a time.
My
One
bad.
at a time. One at a time. We got 3 more. We got 4 more to pick.
Okay.
You got yours, TJ. If you want to make a pick on that game, go right ahead.
Um, that's an interesting. That's a good matchup. The Raptors are a very very long team. Like everybody's like 6'8" or better, and they're kind of deep too. Like their height doesn't stop when it goes to the bench. Like they're a solid shooting team. Um, they're just going to be an annoyance for the rest of the season. I see them. They're not going to be an easy out. Um, are they playing in Toronto, Jamal?
They are playing in Toronto.
You know what? I'm a rock with you on that one. I'm a rock with you on that one. That's going to help them out a lot. Kevin Durant
Mhm.
has been all world these first 8 games, though. I mean, he's been a monster, but he needs help. He needs a lot of help. They're
And
missing
off,
Kyrie.
and off that there, because you picked Toronto too, I'm going with the Nets. Just off GP because TJ picked against them, so I think I'm gonna get that W.
Oh no.
It's on you, TJ. NFL or NBA?
We're gonna stay in the association. I think the Knicks play a back to back. They play tomorrow night. I know they got Cleveland tonight. I forgot who they play tomorrow night.
You know who they play. I think that's what Jamal was gonna go pick. It's the game that our brother JP ain't here to pick.
Oh well, if that game is in Philly. If we play well tonight, I think we could get them again tomorrow. They got a lot of wounded walking wounded on that squad this week, and I think we could steal one in Philly tomorrow night, coming off the back to back. Plus, Kemba's not playing today, so that's going to give him rest to play tomorrow night. So I like that.
I like the Knicks against Philly also. One, to rub it in JP's face, but two, like you mentioned, walking wounded, and our depth should be able to beat them. Let Joel Embiid do whatever he wants, shut down
Right.
everybody else, and there's your game, Jamal.
This is probably one of the few times I'm gonna pick against my squad, man. Um, just because of the back, we have the talent to do it. Philly's still a tough out. I mean, as much as I like to gig on them when they lose, especially when they lose. They lost to us that first time. Um, that's a tough out off a back to back, and Cleveland is scared. Cleveland is a tough game. They're tough out themselves today, and it all depends on what happens today. You know, big win today.
They,
I can see them going to Philly and taking that game tomorrow.
they are
But
we are one game better than them in the loss column right now. Cleveland.
Cleveland, they're giving people problems, man. But I
They
think
beat actually Cleveland beat Toronto, Milwaukee, and the Bulls, I believe. These last
it's
three
a
games.
it's a trap game. It's a definitely a trap game. So,
Word,
but
word.
I see the game in Philly is going to be close though. But I'm gonna lean towards Philly, just trying to keep their respect in a close one.
Somebody asks, why are they holding on to Kevin Love? I don't know.
The contract, his
Yeah,
contract is ridiculous.
Uh, that
It's a
could
money
be it.
thing. It's a
That that
money thing.
that definitely always can be the thing. That definitely can always be a thing, yo. But I will go. Since y'all went NBA, I'm not gonna go NBA back to back. I'ma stay in the NFL, and I am going to go with the 425 game today. Chiefs. No, I'll save that for the second one. I'll do the two. I'll do the two NFL games. But one of y'all can pick the last NBA game since we did two. I am going to run with. You know what? Nope. I was going to pick that one too, but that segues into a different conversation. So I'm trying to make this interesting. I'm trying to make this interesting, and I'll go with my Eagles versus the Chargers. Normally we pick our own teams. I didn't want to, but this week, I mean, let's see what my Philadelphia Eagles can do. I still had little faith in them this far, and and I I. I just don't know. I don't know. Like our defense is real suspect right now, especially in the secondary. Justin Herbert's been playing phenomenal. He's got two of the best wide receivers on his side. I'm picking my Philadelphia Eagles to lose by at least one score today to this young Chargers team.
Mm,
At least by one.
mm.
Okay, yeah, that's a tough game to pick. Philly has enough to beat them though. Are they in Philly or are they in San Diego? I mean in Los Angeles. Oh, Mayor's muted.
My bad. I was muted while I was looking up the game for you. We are in Philadelphia today.
All right, that's a good game. Um, I'm gonna go with the Eagles with the upset, bro.
Is it really
Wow.
an upset?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't, I don't have any faith in the Chargers. Quarterback is no jump. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, that's a winnable game for Philly, bro.
It can be. I mean, I can see it the other way. Maybe I'm putting my TJ mojo on the game. You know what I'm saying? Pick, pick opposite to hope for the best to get to
Mm.
get the W. But TJ, where are you at?
This is tough. I mean, the Chargers got a lot of weapons on the outside, man. Cooper Cup is having like a crazy year right now. Robert Woods is on the other side. He's having a decent season. In Philly, hmm. Well, you know what? This should be easy for me because this is the NFC East, and I don't like anybody outside the NFC East except my own team. So I'm picking the Chargers. Fuck it. I don't know why I was contemplating. Is anybody against Philly?
Said no analysis needed.
Nah, none,
Yeah.
none. I was
No
deep. I was thinking
analysis
too
needed.
deep. I was thinking too deep.
All right. So TJ, I'll bring it back to you. The last NBA game for this week that you think is a must watch.
The last NBA. What we got going on Thursday night?
All right. Let me get the Thursday night schedule. We are up to Monday, Tuesday. Hold on, I went too fast. Okay. Wednesday has the most games. Thursday, since you picked Thursday, we got Philly, Toronto, Indiana, Utah, Miami, Clippers.
Ooh, picking the Heat over the Clips.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
That is a good game, but the Heat is a well-oiled machine very early in the season. They are not fucking around. They are taking heads off. Spoelstra got them boys playing tight. Lowry adds another dimension to that defense with Butler. Them guys don't take no plays off.
Mhm.
The young boys are shooting the lights out, Duncan and Harrow. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Bam. You keep forgetting, like, Bam is the man in the middle in that team. Like, Bam Adebayo's a problem. He's a bucket. He's a
Mhm.
legit bucket, inside, outside, wherever you want to take that game to. Bam is a problem. You have to account for that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm liking the Heat over the Clips on this one, man. Respect
Yeah,
to the Heat right now.
TJ covered all the analysis for me, Jamal. I like the Heat also.
I like the Heat too, man. The Heat are a problem. The Heat are the best team in the East, in my opinion. And
Word.
um, they, to me, they're built like they play defense like the Knicks in a lot of ways, but probably better. And their offense is incredible. They are tough out, man. That team
They're deep.
is just
They're
scary.
deep, bro. They're
Yeah.
deep.
I mean, even for the Nets, they're a problem. The Heat are a legitimate problem, and I
Yeah,
think
man.
they play two-way basketball. The Clips gonna have to eat that out.
And Tyler Hero told y'all better mention his name when y'all talking about greatness. Tyler Hero told y'all.
He still ain't better than RJ. I don't know.
He told y'all. But last game for the week, I made it obvious before because it perfectly segues into the next topic. Green Bay versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is the game. Damn it, I just clicked off the team shit. But what's the name of the damn quarterback that Green Bay drafted that Aaron Rodgers was
Love,
mad?
Love.
Yeah,
love.
Jordan Love, right?
Yeah.
There you go. This is the game where Matt LaFleur gets to see.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you, Jordan Love. Shout out to House in the comments. This is the game where Matt LaFleur gets to see what he drafted. This is the game where he gets to see the potential future of the Green Bay Packers. I mean, especially after what we're about to talk about, I think most definitely Aaron Rodgers is done after this contract.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I think that was just a foregone conclusion as is that Aaron Rodgers was
Mhm.
done. But
Yeah.
against a really bad, and I mean really bad Kansas City Chiefs defense.
They struggled to beat my Giants last week, bro.
Ugh,
Struggled.
yeah,
Struggled.
it's what could this kid do?
Yeah.
But I think because it's probably the game of the week on most TV networks out there, especially because Aaron Rodgers is definitely not there this week. I think the Chiefs are. I called it last week that the Chiefs needed the win against y'all Giants to turn everything around.
Word.
I think this could be that next turning point for Green Bay because we all know Green Bay historically, whether it was Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position, Green Bay's defenses only operate exceptionally with a lead. I think Kansas City might have to jump out to that early lead. And with Green Bay playing from behind, I don't know if Jordan Love can do it just yet. I'm going with Kansas City by 10. Just off GP of Aaron Rodgers not being there.
I see. I'm
Okay.
with you on that because Aaron Rodgers is the leader of that team, hands down. Like he runs that ship. You know what I'm saying? He runs the offense. He makes all the right reads, the right calls. He's not turnover prone. He doesn't make too many bad throws at all. Um, you know, with all this controversy surrounding him and the bullshit, either they're going to rally around Jordan Love and try to make this work, or KC is just going to come out hot out the gates. And I think KC is just going to come hot out the gates. They're gonna attack downfield. They're gonna pull out all the stops in this game. They're the thing is both these defenses are mad suspect. That's the problem. But Mahomes can win the shootout. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Jordan Love is ready for that type of trading last touchdown wins type shit. And this would be perfect game for Aaron Rodgers in terms of that. Last who got the ball last wins. And I don't see Jordan Love stepping up to the plate in his first game like that. I mean, they don't have no tape on the kid, so they got to go with whatever they got to see on him. But I Green Bay's got to play a little bit more conservative than normal at this point because the kid's got to prove himself, and until that happens, this is Kansas City's game to lose. Put it like that. more than
Yeah,
it is Green Bay's is to win.
yeah. I mean, Jamal, Matt LaFleur really liked this kid. I mean, it sounded like word was like he wanted to go with him almost right out of the gate, or even do do what San Francisco was doing and flip flopping in mid game. Like, nah, you can't do that when you got the last year league's MVP. But
Mhm.
now again, now is your chance to finally test out that new toy that you just bought.
That's right. If Love is at least average, I mean, you can sign the paperwork on Rodgers being gone. You know, it's a, I'm going to pick Green Bay because without Aaron Rodgers, the Packers have to be as bad as the Giants to lose this game, and I don't see that happening. Um, there are plenty teams in the league with backup quarterbacks that can beat the Giants. So with the back, I think I'm going to pick Green Bay to get the W over Kansas City. I'm going to try and
That's
put
all
some
right.
trust in LaFleur as a talent evaluator. And that if he sees that he loves this kid this much to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, okay, I think this kid maybe has a little talent. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, let's. That's where we're at. Let's see what's up, man. But
Mhm.
really, let's see what's up with Aaron Rodgers, man. Yeah, everybody knows what's been going on with him. Reason why he's not in this week's game is because he contracted the COVID virus. Um, I don't think he's gonna die, people. Let's just get that out there now. Even whether he is immunized or not, I don't think he's going to die, people. We all know that everybody's got this heightened sense of awareness because of COVID. This thing, as I've mentioned on this show and in personal conversations several times, has permanently changed the world, and it has permanently changed the mentalities of the people in this world. I say that by way of a lot of outgoing, adventurous, wanting to do things in the world type people now don't want to leave the four walls of their house because they're just scared to be next to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? COVID literally changed the world. And we're not going to get into the actual vaccines itself because there's even still a lot more drama behind that. There's still a lot more drama behind that and the distrust within the government, or some people trusting the government and everything that's going on behind this shit, you know. But I personally have my own personal like connection with this whole fight because of my job, where I work, the city of New York, for just in general, these mandates and things of that nature. We all know the league has their own set of protocols set up for these athletes to play under and to work under. And right now, it just seems as with this whole Aaron Rodgers situation, is that people fell victim to wordplay. As me and Jamal was talking about this pre-show before you came, TJ, I think a lot of people fell to wordplay because he didn't say vaccinated, which is the key trigger word these days. He said immunized, which, if we're being factual, isn't incorrect. It is. It's accurate to say immunized, but because of the heightened sense of awareness the world is in right now, because you don't say vaccinated, people don't believe you. Now, as I believe this is Ed, he's saying he flat out lied. That's where I'm gonna sit back and say, hey, I don't know that man's personals to say if he lied or not. If he didn't get vaccinated, that's on him. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Jamal, you explain it best because you mentioned the Bill what's
Yeah,
his name? Bill
the
Clinton
Clinton
theory.
legacy. Yeah. So I think so. May, as we were talking earlier, I think his intent was to mislead. However, I don't. I wish I went back and watched it. I don't know what the question was that preceded him saying, "I'm immunized." What was asked him? Oh,
And of
Okay,
course,
my
you
bad.
broke up.
There you go. Yeah. So I think he understood the question that was being asked of him, but I think he carefully chose his words to protect himself at that moment, and also if it should come back on him. I think he used the Bill Clinton defense, where verbiage is everything, where he played as Bill Clinton played with the definition of what sex was, what he deemed intercourse was. I think Aaron Rodgers did the same thing. I believe he knew what he was doing. He's a very smart individual, um, but I believe he used the verbiage basically to shield himself from having to declare on whether he got the vaccine, but also if it came back on, he could say that's not what I said though. I never said I was vaccinated. And here we have the conundrum. That thinking back on it, there probably should have been a follow-up question to that, saying, "Hey, did you get the vaccine? Which vaccine did you get?" But so it's a gray area that he exploited, and I mean, it worked well for him. But I
Yeah,
do, I think
and
he's
that's
smart enough. Yeah,
and that's why I give it up. That's why I give it up to him because he fooled y'all. Let's just say it like that. He fooled y'all. Now, did he get vaccinated though? I don't know. Only the league and the Green Bay Packers need to know that. We're kind of going off of the factor of no, he didn't. We're going off the thing of no, he didn't. So we'll ride with no, he didn't for this discussion. Okay. So he straight up lied. But in all reality, to me, where the finger needs to be pointed the most is at the Green Bay Packers for allowing it to happen, and at the NFL,
facts.
for allowing it to happen. If he did not get vaccinated, to me they are just as culpable in all of this as Aaron is. But I still say that with why are people acting like you're going to die, you're going to like, oh, you're not vaccinated, but you caught COVID. Like that was like you got the vaccine that was going to stop COVID. Y'all people are smarter than that to know you can still catch this shit even if he was vaccinated. It's just the ball. It's just everything TJ coming out behind him, not allegedly not having it, and saying, and saying what he said, like Jamal mentioned, wordplay. He got him with the wordplay.
Here's the conundrum, right? Somebody else besides Aaron Rodgers knew that Aaron Rodgers was not vaccinated.
That
All
part.
right, all right. The medical staff don't let shit slide, bro. They don't. All right, but this is Aaron Rodgers, face of the franchise of the team. What you gonna tell him? You're gonna tell the owner? If they find out, we'll deal with the fallout. That's the way they handle that shit, and that's the way they're handling it right now. Two, your man is receiving the nowhere near the criticism as your man Kyrie Irving received for the same bullshit.
Well, the difference there is Kyrie flat out said it from jump.
This is true.
Aaron Rodgers hit him with the wordplay.
This is
Kyrie
true.
hit it from jump. Like
But
I'm
that
not
means
taking.
that the lashback should be even worse. Should be even worse because this dude was doing press conferences with no mask. You know what I'm saying? Out here giving interviews, all type of shit, like it was all 100. And to him, it was.
Like
It
Ed said,
was.
it goes with what you said right here. This is why I waited to put Ed's comment up. It's one thing if he had followed protocol, but Rodgers has a history of smartest guy in the room on top of superstar treatment, and he leveraged that,
Right.
thinking he was bigger and smarter than the rules everyone else had to follow.
Exactly.
The issue is that he
Exactly.
thinks the rules don't apply to him, and then he says, "I wonder if Randall Cobb knew about it since they're such good buddies."
I'm sure
And
I'm sure several people knew about it.
Kyrie was
Oh
upfront
yeah.
about it.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure several people knew about it. But they're paid to keep that shit, mind your business. You know what I'm saying? What you eat don't affect my check. I'm just trying to get my check. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna rock out, and if I can get away with it, so be it. Don't be a dumbass and get COVID. Basically, what they were trying to say, but that didn't happen. You know what? It's called karma. Karma reared her
Yep.
ugly head again, and that shit
Yeah,
caught up to him. That shit caught up to him in
And
the worst way at the worst time.
you
Now,
know how Aaron Rodgers gets down too.
right,
So
but now the NFL, Roger Goodell's got to step in and lay down some heavy fines or some type of shit, some type of penalties, because this was intentional. This was
yeah,
premeditated, as they like to say. You know what I'm saying? This was long drawn out.
And that's
So
where the problem is. And TJ,
yes,
that's where the problem is what is the league going to do about it? This is why I say the finger needs to be pointed directly at the NFL more
well,
than, oh, I love this comment right here. You can't trust anyone who breaks up with Olivia Munn's fine ass self anyway. I agree. Shout outs to
but
Hollis.
that
I
is
agree.
big facts, bro.
but I was reading an article earlier today that the league of several other owners and franchises are upset with Green Bay and the NFL for letting this shit happen in the first place. Like, how you gonna hold us accountable, and then this dude gets his own set of rules? So
TJ, word.
if this shit ain't sitting right with the owners of other teams, best believe there's gonna be some blowback behind this. Now, could he
As
be
there should be.
suspended? Could he be suspended for 3 or 4 more games? You know, to
Nah,
affect
nah,
their standings in the playoffs, or the, that's where you really hurt it, man. That's how you hurt the team. But a fine. What's a fine gonna do? Aaron Rodgers got money on
yeah,
top of money, and if he does get fined, I'm sure the owner's gonna pick up that tab, even though they're not getting along right now. You know what I'm
right.
saying? In terms of him wanting to be there after this year, he's out after this year regardless, and that's another reason why I think he did what he did. He's like, no fucks given, zero fucks given, because I'm out after this anyway.
That's
Who's
it.
not
Yeah,
gonna pick me? Who's not gonna pick me up? You know what I'm
Right.
yeah.
saying? I'm Aaron Rodgers, yo.
And
But this
knowing
MVP.
how he gets down, is you actually can't blame Aaron Rodgers without indicting the Packers as well because they knew about it.
No, it's
And
right. It's a
Aaron Rodgers
collective.
knows that shit too. So if they try and come after him, he's gonna say, "Well, what about them? They was in on it. And he got no love for that organization.
No.
He's gonna it's gonna get ugly. He's gonna make a huge thing and say you can't find me or penalize me without penalizing this organization."
See, now this here is what I kind of disagree with you on, Ed, as he says League HQ played themselves, letting teams self-regulate. All it takes is one person or one team to poison the well for the whole league.
Nah,
Now,
because
now in this case, where I don't agree with the whole poison the whole league. This quote unquote, this to me, one, exposed the league because Green Bay allowed this to happen. The NFL in many ways allowed this to happen. What happened to the whole showing your vaccination card thing? So are you telling me that he got away with showing a vax card that was fake? If he showed a vax card that was fake,
I don't think he that even came up. I
but
don't even think
right,
that came up.
right. But I'm not hanging my hat on that. I'm saying the what if part of it. What if so if he showed a quote unquote fake vax card, right, to prove him being immunized, as he said, then how come he's not getting a fine by the state of Wisconsin? How come he's not getting the threats of jail time from the state of Wisconsin, just like multiple other states are doing? Why? And the other part I disagree with the league part is the league probably did what the NBA did. You follow your state rules. Follow your state rules behind this, okay? You know what I'm saying? So it should be so then per se, if they followed like how the NBA is doing, you can be unvaccinated, but if you go to Cali or New York, you can play. You just kind of got to stay in the hotel room until then. But we know this
Well,
is Aaron Rodgers. Are they going to allow that to happen with Aaron Rodgers? No. Every radio show is going to want to have him there. Every TV show is going to want to have him there while he's in town because of who he is. That star treatment y'all mentioned.
here's the thing though. The league they did in a way, but we haven't seen it yet. They said, like, if somebody gets COVID and he spreads it, and 4 or 5 people on the team get it, and you can't field the team to play, you're losing that game check, and that's an automatic forfeit.
Yeah,
That's an
they did
automatic
set that
forfeit.
rule.
They
They did
did
set
set
that
that
rule.
price right, but They've been able to contain most teams. If a player gets COVID, they're containing that shit ASAP. They're
Yep.
not trying to lose. They're not trying to lose no money. And you the best believe these players ain't trying to lose a game check off of one person getting COVID. Somebody's getting their ass beat behind that for sure.
Right. And like you said, but that was the league protocol that Rogers had to stay in his hotel room. He dismissed that. Right. As I mentioned, like this is he as the as the Italians like to say in New York City, he thought who he was. It's still, which that shit still don't make sense, but it makes sense. He thought who he was, and he got to do with what he wanted to do. So to me, salute to Aaron Rodgers for getting over on you silly motherfuckers. But shame on you, NFL. Shame on you, Green Bay Packers, because
What are the
you
repercussions
allowed,
now?
fuck the repercussions right in this second. You allowed this to happen. That's the point I'm trying to get out of this. You allowed this to happen. You allowed for this huge mistake to even rear its ugly head. But my problem still behind it is okay, he came up with COVID. So even if he was immunized, and I'm gonna keep using his word, even with him being immunized, okay, he still caught COVID. That should tell the rest of the world, vaccinated, not vaccinated, you still can catch COVID. To me, that's a part of the point behind this. Forget he lied. Forget he doesn't, if he's not vaccinated, fine. Forget that. You can still catch COVID even with it if he is vaccinated. And that's where, like you mentioned, TJ, I will give the league that much an ounce of props. Podcast listeners, you can't see how close my fingers are together. But I will give them that much ounce of props because when somebody comes up with it, you are out until you test negative multiple times. Now, because of the lying, he deserves more than just this one game. He deserves more than what the protocol calls for. That is, I'm totally in agreement with. But the league themselves, who in my opinion are culpable, and kind of makes them look hypocritical in some sort of ways because you allowed it, they need to come down hard on Green Bay. And if you get why, when I say it like that, if you get why I say they
That's
look
what I was
hypocritical,
saying. Yeah,
is
that's what I
because
was
they
saying.
gotta lay it down on them, but it's to save their own face of, well, we allowed this to happen.
What is considered laying down though? Are they going to lose draft picks? Are they going to penalize the team in terms of Aaron Rodgers? That's what I'm saying. Is are they
Right,
going to
right, right,
tell
right.
him? Are they going to suspend him for like another 2-3 games? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to hold the franchise and the organization responsible? Because I can't believe just Aaron Rodgers knew about this and nobody else did. The medical
Right.
staff has got to be on top of that shit
Right.
24/7.
Yeah, 100%.
So so everybody kept their mouth shut. It's a tight-lipped situation, and everybody's gonna have to fall on the shield for this one, but fall on the sword for this one. And behind the scenes, it'll get taken care of how it gets taken care of. But what is the outlet? What is the backlash going to look like? What is it? What is the end game going to look like for this?
Right.
And we're not gonna know. We're not gonna know that right away. I don't even think we're gonna know that right away.
Like to Hollis, what Hollis said right here. I wonder how many other players have faked the vaccinations. Also, are the NBA, NFL, and said cities mandating booster shots? See, that there, people love to hate this argument, especially from what I've mentioned before and what we are going through as employees in New York City. So I'm only going to give this to y'all from my perspective and my point of view because the league isn't doing what New York City is doing right now. So are you going to tell me now that every 6 to 8 months, because that's what they said that the effectiveness rate is of this shot is 6 to 8 months within this testing period that we're in. And I'm going to continue to call this the real testing period. Okay. From 30, 40,000 people of 2019 is minute compared to everybody pushing this on the real world. Are you going to tell me now every 6 to 8 months, if I don't get that booster shot, I have to sit at home without pay and or go jobless. Is that going to happen in these leagues also? You don't get the booster shot by next season, you got to sit home. Is this the end game in all of this? Is this the end game in all of this? And nobody's defining an end game to any of this. Why, in my opinion? Because we are in a testing period. We are in a period where even the science itself is still further educating themselves on what's going on a day by day, case by case basis behind this vaccination.
which
Everybody
is,
is, you know,
I'm sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
which is true. I think they're diagnosing a problem in real time. So
Right.
you're gonna
Right.
there's not you're gonna have to expect that there's some shit they're gonna get wrong. There's some shit that's just gonna be precautionary, but they can't just stand pat the way things work or things are because it can cause problems.
Very
So
true.
it just has. I think on whatever side of belief you fall on, just have to understand that it's going to be a whole lot of gray area in the meantime until we get to where people can give you just concrete facts on the situation. So expect it to be a little tumultuous.
Yeah, and
Listen,
it's gonna be that way because we all. I mean, a lot of us people learned who didn't know already. For every vaccination or type of vaccine or some type of medicine that comes out, it takes years before legitimate approval. And so it goes to right what you just said, Jamal. Like in some case, for some instances, yeah, we do have to kind of stand back and stand by. Shout outs to Fred Binns and Bunchy Seven the Panther on that track right there. If y'all didn't catch the reference, but but we got to stand back and stand by and see how this goes along. But
listen.
it's,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
The issue is the government, for all intents and purposes, fumbled the ball on the messaging of the whole shit.
Mm-hmm.
They never really explained to the general public that this is a work in process, and you might hear some conflicting stories or conflicting issues, but here's where we stand.
Right.
Yes, it's a vaccination. Yes, you can still get COVID. Yes, it will lessen your chances of getting it, but as anything else, you know, move with caution type shit. But they fumbled that whole deal with the messaging, and it would just such in such a hurry up and go get the word out that they didn't take into account how confusing and misleading, or take into account the general public of them trying to understand or comprehend what they were trying to say, or what they were trying to get their message across. Not everybody's can understand or handle, or sometimes you got to explain this shit to like to these people like they're 5 years old. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. I agree with that to a point. But like in conversation with our girl Sarah a couple weeks ago, if the government just simply just said, "Look, like you mentioned, this is a work in progress, and we will report as we go along," I think that would have made it a lot easier on a lot of people's
Hell
minds.
yeah,
I think. I
hell
think.
yeah.
I think if they told that truth from up front, a lot of people, a lot more people would have probably gotten vaccinated by now, right now. Like Sarah just said as she's listening, shout outs to you. There's nothing wrong with saying they don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. If they did that, instead of telling us in the beginning, okay, we're going to wait for this vaccine. This vaccine is going to cure it. This vaccine is going to cure it. That'll be our hope to knocking it out. To, oh shit, this vaccine is just a vaccination. It's just going to try to keep you out of the hospital. Then it
Where,
turned to, oh shit, you can still catch it while having it. And it's all of that uncertainty that they've told us from jump. Instead of just saying we don't know yet, but we are reporting as we go along.
where I think they got caught up with is the amount of people that were dying, and the way the hospital situation was, that they put that out there like that to curb the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that were ended up in the ER and on a life support when they got this virus, and they just wanted to make a blanket statement to like panic you into getting the shot, and
And that's
that's where it falls. That's where it falls flat at. No
at
doubt.
least at
No
least
doubt.
thank you for at least saying that, because a lot of people will still dispute that. A lot of people would still dispute that. And it just goes with just being honest. Being honest. If the government was more honest about this from the beginning, I probably would have gotten it a while back.
Brother Dan, you have to understand we had the worst motherfucker in charge when this shit dropped.
When it dropped, I agree.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
they sat on it and they said nothing while the rest of the world was preparing their populations for what was coming. And
Yes.
so now they're playing catch up and cleanup. That's one. Two,
Yes.
they
Good
also
points.
that guy he completely eliminated a pandemic response team and all the protocols that were left for him, the playbook. They burnt that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Yes.
the third component of that is culture, because when they did the research on the pandemic response in this country, they said Americans were going to be resistant to whatever it happens because we don't like to be told what to do. So this our environment, our culture, it was the perfect spot for this thing to catch fire because just because of the culture here, you know.
Mhm.
You're
So
right. You're absolutely right.
it's a big pot of boiling shit, to be
But
honest with
but I will give you something on. I will give you something on top of that. If y'all want to
you. Yeah.
say I'm agreeing with Trump on something, say whatever the fuck you want. But I will say this: the problem within all of this was easily the first messenger of everything. Trump being the messenger fucked it all up.
Yes.
It did. And because
Yes.
because because number one, when he was alerted back in November, December of 19, he sat on his hands, right? But
He knew
then
about it.
there's other little things too, because I will tell y'all, I had a black man tell me his doctor gave him two medications that we all clowned as a people because of the messenger who said it. Hydrochloroquine does get given to people with COVID. And this is a black man who told me this, who had COVID bad, has a prescription of hydrochloroquine in his house, and he takes some every so often just to fight off ever getting it again. And the ivermectin. We made fun of Joe Rogan and everybody with the horse med because everybody looked at the big boxes of horse medication because people let it out there to be known that it was horse medication. But ivermectin is also in human form and is being given to people with COVID. The
Dan,
messenger, the messengers behind these things
you
fuck
you
it all
you
up.
you hit the nail on the head with that, because at first he said it would just go away. Then
Sunlight,
he
sunlight,
then he was
bleach.
like all kind of crazy shit, and he was going on doing these press conferences like every week, changing what and what the message was in terms of, we're on it, we're not on it. He was just straight out fabricating shit out of his ass every week, and people were eating that shit up. So you're right.
That's right.
When you got that type of person in charge, what are you left to? You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you got people stop trusting their medical professionals and everything else that they trust them for: heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure. All it now the person that you're talking to is wrong. I mean, because
Yeah. Well,
Messaging
that makes no
is
sense.
everything, man.
before I read Sarah's dissertation, like this comment here. Remember, rumors were going around that blacks can't get it. I remember that. I remember that. But Sarah says true transparency is key. This is new to us. Exactly. Be honest. We don't know how to handle this. Trump definitely dropped the ball. He should have let us know how serious it was. They hit a lot until it was too late. I watched 30 of my nursing home residents die behind this. But we needed someone to say we are dealing with this in real time instead of definites, because it's
Word,
mistrust. And that's
word.
that's a byproduct of what Biden is doing too, and all of these other politicians. They're just they've changed the rules and changed the game as these were definites from the beginning. They've all,
Well,
from Trump down to the politicians in office now, they've
well,
all told us in in
when you're
mistrust.
in
Yeah,
when you're in save your ass mode, you know what I'm saying? Cover your ass mode. You're gonna say shit like that because you don't want to
that's
be the
yeah.
guy pointed to that got the finger pointed at. You know what I'm saying?
That
Yeah,
that is one part of it, TJ. The second part, and going back to what I said earlier, and also what Ed said, it's American individualism, and we have
Right.
an incredible contrarian part of this population that say, "Well, if you don't know, why the hell am I listening to you? Why
right,
should I do what you tell me if you don't know?"
right.
But then
As
how does your
as
how
Ed said,
my problem is how is your train of thought better than the next guy's train of thought when you don't know shit either? You know what I'm saying? Like
But
where do
right.
you
again,
where do
American
you draw the line
individualism
at?
and contrarianism. We got all these D students in high school who are now biology experts on a fucking line, saying take this, this, and this, or I heard this on this podcast, or I saw this on this show, are now, never, are now contradicting actual clinical trials, or don't even
Right,
know how a clinical trial is carried out, funded, how long it takes, or the size of the sample size.
right.
Right, but
They're
also,
contracting all that stuff.
but also too though, Jamal, a lot of that is attached to what some people have researched on their own. And yes, people, I'm sorry, y'all can hate it when we say researching. Part of why we have the internet is to look things up.
Right.
Part of what people who do go and spend 45 hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college is what we do as a people on our own,
But Dan,
which is
here
look up and research shit. It's
his
the difference is their degree versus our non-degree. To
here's the
me,
I
problem
get
though.
it, but what am I going to
Here's the
find that my doctor can't find? That's my only thing.
no.
no,
Here's the
and that's the
problem.
point. That's the point there. Hold on, TJ, real quick. But that's the point I'm saying there, though, is your doctor and you can go look up the same information. The difference is the paperwork. The difference is that degree and the ability to practice said things. We can't just go and practice. I mean, you could try all you want willy nilly. Go ahead. You kill yourself. You know that's the ultimate. You know what I'm saying? But we can all go get the same books they get and read up on the same things they read. We can look up the same websites and stuff like that, and just what a doctor can read. But that piece of paper is your deciding, is the determining factor between what you can and can't do technically
here's
within this country.
here's the curse of the internet though, and the way the algorithms are set up. You can find what you're looking for to agree with your opinion
You're putting
Agreed,
it,
90
yeah,
and it goes.
percent of the time. 90% of the time. If you believe that this shit is a hoax, that's all you're gonna find. That
Yep,
this shit is a hoax.
I agree.
You
I agree.
believe that the earth is flat? Well, you know what? There are gonna be plenty of examples and plenty of shit out there to tell you that the earth is flat. And it's gonna sound very, very believable to you because that's the way you were leaning already. So
yeah.
if you had any doubts, any suspicions about this was a government attempt or it came from China or whatever your thought process was, you're gonna go out there and search it, and you're not searching anything to contradict it, then that's what you're gonna find,
But
and that's
that's
going to
where.
be that's what going
Mhm.
to be your backing to spew more bullshit.
And that's where a lot of the problem lies right there is you're just going to go look for whatever, you know,
Whatever
cures
you
or
agree with,
whatever,
yeah.
yeah, whatever you agree with. You can do the same thing with buying books too. So everybody blaming the internet, you can do the same thing with books also. It's the same fucking thing. The only difference is you can go physically grab what you want with a book. Algorithms are designed, it was designed for advertising and things like that to gear things towards you. So like you said, the search history will guide that shit right in your path. But where the problem is you got to kind of be a person like myself where you have to absorb all sides. And in this go along, get along culture that we live in right now, and we're all of many groups in Facebook or on YouTube, on Instagram, or our YouTube channels and playlists and stuff. We are all amongst people who ride with that go along, get along. If you're not down with what we're thinking and how we think, it's fuck you. It's you're a coon. It's you're a nigga. You're this. You're that. Now, granted, there are some true coons out there. Y'all know the one I want to box. Not don't need to mention his name, because some of those people are just pure contrarians to just whatever. There are people out there who hate their own skin and their own cultures and backgrounds and shit like that.
Way too many.
But there aren't enough people that truly have open minds that are willing to listen to all sides. That's why I always say when we talk about listening to all sides, I'm that crazy. JP said, nah, fuck that. I can never do that in what I'm about to say. I can never do that shit because they hate me and that's it. Cut and dry. There's many people that is just, nope, this is it, that's it, bong. I've said I would have a conversation with a Klansman right across the table from me and have that cultural conversation of why. To learn. I don't have to get up and agree with you after that.
But you kind of
But
already know what the answer would be behind that. You know what I'm saying?
Point is I would like to know that, and this is where I'm talking about having an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is I can sit across from a person, we can disagree on everything. I talk with people at work all day that first off, politically, they just picked it up while Trump was in office. That's one
Right.
thing. They haven't been paying attention as long as I have. You know what I'm saying? Like said right here, you want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Shout outs to Hollis with that right there. You want to hear it from the horse's mouth. You want to hear it directly from that person. Why? And then gain and further expand your education and understanding from there. Yeah, we know. Not to go on the clan shit for whatever, but yeah, we know their history as a people. But how many of us ever had that one direct, straight to your face? You know what I'm saying? It's totally different from what you read, what you see on the internet, what we just talked about. It's totally different. And I just speak on that as far as not a lot of people are expansive enough right here to want to learn directly from the other side. They want to just be to go along, get what they were told, get it from whatever book, website, whatever the fuck they think that guides down the line that you just mentioned, TJ. Some people aren't afraid to break that path and let me go learn that side. Let me go, all right, I understand what this vaccine is. Let me go look up how vaccines are made. Let me go look up the true testing process behind vaccinations. Let me go look up what these chemical compounds in all these vaccines are. That's why a lot of people are afraid of this one, because there's certain things within it that they're finding out they might be allergic to. But then you got jobs out there that their doctor will write, they can't take this because of this, that, and that. Fine, but we're going to knock down your medical exemption. We're going to knock down what your religious beliefs are because we want you to take this.
I understand that.
A lot of shit like that happens. That it's just a whole mess.
I understand that, but these are the same people that'll go out and buy a fucking Mountain Dew, you know what I'm saying, and eat fucking greasy fast foods all day, every day.
This is true.
And they're not doing the same fucking type of research for what they're putting in their body. They give them high blood pressure and all this other shit.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
and
yeah, point of view.
Yeah. Right. You can't just come at me with one thing and then you contradict that one thing with everything else that's going on in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right. It goes back to it. It goes. I'm on mute. I'm sorry. It goes back to what Ed said, which was reciting what we all just said. It's one thing to do your own research, but many are looking for confirmation of their belief, not looking for critical thinking. It becomes an echo chamber, and that's exactly what we all were talking about in different forms. That's why I mentioned you got to go and branch out from research. Researching of what they're just straight up telling you. No, go around the back and try to find that other door to find out the other things behind it, to make your own opinion. We all got our own minds. Yes, there's things that we all agree on, There's things that we all agree on. You know what I'm saying? There's things we all disagree on. There's things that you might like. You like the fucking y'all like the New York Giants. I don't. Fuck your Giants. Y'all can say fuck my Eagles. You know what I'm saying? We all can say fuck Aaron Rodgers for right now. Oh, because you look like a liar. But guess what? Aaron Rodgers did what he did for his life. He didn't do it for you. He didn't do it for us here. He gave us a great conversation to expand on and talk about. You know what I'm saying? He gave us that much, but I don't give a fuck if he don't like the vaccine or not. I don't give a fuck if he did take it. I do care if the man something happened bad to him because that's just a human. It's just a human not wanting to see something bad happen to a fellow man, woman, child, space alien, whatever. It's just having a heart. But the league themselves, I still say to bring it back home and move on to the last topic. You know what I'm saying? He did it for the gamblers. He did it for the gamblers. You know what I'm saying? But like it's conversations like we have here that we're not afraid to run from. That also expands minds and education. You know what I'm saying? You're getting 3 different point of views on today's show. We agreed on a lot of things. We talked, and I think we agreed on almost everything for the most part, with just different points of views and directions and things.
Yeah.
This is the
We're all
beauty
on the
of
same
podcast.
page. We're on the same
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, for the most part, I didn't want the vaccine, but I had to protect the paycheck. It's the only reason why I got it. Aaron Rodgers ain't got to worry about
Very,
that.
very
Kyrie ain't got
valid
to worry
reason.
about that. Kyrie ain't got to worry about that. If I was up their pay range and pay scale, my ass would be sitting home right now still fighting the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not against it. I was never against it. But we all have different fights. We all have different struggles. But the one person who took the wrong fight, and TJ and Jamal, because I'm about to pee on myself, podcast listeners. Henry Ruggs, he made the wrong decision, one of the biggest, most fatal decisions ever. Kick it off and go off on that.
Wow. What's this dude, Jamal? He's like 22 years old.
Yeah, man. His life is it's sad to see that his life is
Is
pretty much done.
is very sad. It's it's disheartening because if you know the man's background, you know how hard he worked to get where he's at. To throw it all away in one foolish decision on one night, it's you got to say it's like ridiculous. How would you even ever put yourself in that type of situation from the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Especially when the dude said he lost his best friend in a car accident. On top of that, like that should give you some perspective on like how to handle yourself. But I think he got caught up. He was with a chick,
Yep.
and he wanted to stunt, floss, however you want to call it, and be out there and do what he thought was right. And he could. The situation was bigger than he could handle at that time, and he had
Yeah.
nobody. He had nobody in his ear saying, "Yo, chill, just jump into Uber, call a car service or whatever. We'll take care of it." Now, to my understanding, they give every NFL player a card to call when you're in a situation like that. So just a simple phone call, they'll take care of everything and make sure you get home safe and
Right.
protect yourself. And that went completely over. That wasn't even a thought. Put it like that. That wasn't even a thought. I'm sure the dude didn't even have the card on him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's disheartening on both sides because it's disheartening for the victim that that this tragically happened to. Is disheartening to him and his
Hmm.
family. Like his family screwed. There's going to be a civil suit. They're taking all his money. He's not going to have a penny to him by the time this is said and done.
No.
It's life as he knows it is over. He'll never get a job in the NFL. And if anything, however this court ruling decides out and at the end of his sentence, he can come back and be an example to future players coming into the league, or come back as a counselor or something like that to
Well,
atone for what his Horrible judgment, in
Never
my
say
opinion.
never say never because Dante Stallworth almost did the same thing. Well, something similar. Dante Stallworth, I believe, killed somebody in a car accident also.
Yes, he did.
And he sat down for a little bit, came back. He
Briefly,
sat
but he
down for a
came
little
back.
bit, came back. Plaxico Burress shot himself. Shot himself. Tried to
Cost
run
us another
because he
Super
was
Bowl.
tried to run up the West Side Highway, got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Vick, his cousins fought dogs. Let's remember that because people love to, but his cousins fought dogs in his house and served 2 years in jail. His cousins. So I don't want to say never, but in the heightened sensitivity era that we live in nowadays, yeah, it's probably a wrap for Henry Ruggs III. And to do that with your girlfriend / baby mama and your kid in the car, to what I understand, I mean, shout outs to who said. Let me look to see who said that. Oh, shout outs to Hollis, as he mentioned. I've drank and drive before. It's one of the dumbest things you can do. Take an Uber or stay where you play. It's not worth it. I've driven up and down from fucking Staten Island. I mean, from like Yonkers to Staten Island drunk before. I've done it.
Listen,
I've done it where I've driven from Club Abyss in Jersey to
Oh
drop
man.
two people off at home and come home to throw up bile. It's not for everybody. It shouldn't be done. Let's just make that
Mhm.
clear. It should not be done.
I don't think there's an instance where a person, I'm going to just speak for myself, that hasn't tried to do that at least once in their life. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And they
Mm-hmm.
can say, I can make it home. And by God's will, nothing horrible happened. And you got a second chance to be like, hey, I should not do this again because that shit was wild nervous the last time I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in this
This,
situation, it's like, not to say that you don't have nothing to lose more than the next man because everybody's situation is different. But you are literally throwing your life away once you put the key in the ignition and pull out the parking lot.
100%. 100%.
I mean, it's the mistakes of youth, man. I mean, it just that his is on a bigger stage, and
Word.
it just he hadn't lived enough life to know how much was at risk or to understand the magnitude of what it is. 2 years ago, this cat was probably in high school homeroom. You know what I mean? 18 months ago. So
That's crazy. You're right though.
Yeah. He was just out
it's
of
just
college.
yeah, yeah.
He was just
So
out of
it's
college.
mis- mistakes of youth. I mean, unfortunately, this is a grave mistake. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure. mm, Is he getting if he's getting a manslaughter charge, right?
He should.
Yeah,
And
He's
then
getting
I don't know if this is
mistakes of
coming back,
youth.
man.
Mistakes
Yeah.
of youth. I mean, not many of the youth also have a supercar that can hit 150 something miles an hour. And you're talking to a guy who loves speed.
Mhm.
I've done 120 miles an hour driving my car with my knees on the steering wheel, no hands, in a Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider. I love
Dan.
speed.
You're not by yourself in that. All right. Attended many races on the Major
Mhm.
Deegan going into the city and leaving the city, or on the West Side Highway on a Friday or Saturday morning at
That's
Oh,
three or
the,
right.
4 o'clock in the morning,
the
and
old school
everybody's out
drag,
there with
the old school drag strip in the Bronx.
and everybody's got the blinkers on, and you're chasing down the lead car. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But like you said, Jamal, it's youth. It's youth. And he's going to be the poster child for a long time behind this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but unfortunate for him. Rest in peace to the lady and her dog who lost their lives in the accident. Let's never forget that, please, because it beyond unfortunate. And people said that they heard that woman scream. Now, again, this is a guy who grew up watching Faces of Death tapes and shit like that. I've seen a person get split open, freaking trying to run for a train, miss and fall in between
Yeah.
the tracks. I've seen this happen in my life. I've seen death, and I've seen that. I've never seen nobody get shot. I never seen nobody die from car accidents, but I've seen gruesome things over the years. To know that people heard this woman screaming from a burning car is
Yeah, that's
it can do something to it.
That hits different, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we got to go there. Because of him, it inspired us to have a little bit of fun, whether you say this is fun or not. We created not one unified, but for the most part, a top 5 list of criminal athletes, as we call this episode, the gangbangers of professional sports. And I asked Jamal, I asked TJ. TJ's list kind of resembles mine, so I can roll off of what TJ mentioned. Jamal, the only one that we all have in common, and we'll go there as a unit together, it's O.J. Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
O.J. Simpson.
I mean,
if there was a head coach, if there was a head coach or the top trainer, it's him. And let's remember, he got away with one thing, but it was him trying to be a gangster gangbanger that caught his ass up.
Yeah.
How, if you know somebody got your merchandise, how the fuck do you go get a squad of 2 people, I think snitched on them eventually, to go steal your stuff back, knowing who you are, when you should have just called the police? Instead, you went to go steal your USC merch back. Mind you, as I remember, he didn't have the gun. It was his goons that was with him. But his ass went down for payback. That was payback. That was a payback. That was a payback arrest.
Let me tell you something. If I would have got off for some shit like OJ did, I would have left the country and you would have never seen or heard from me again. That would have been it. I don't need to show my face, no way, shape, or form, ever again. There's no get back. I just got away. I just got off on one of the most historic cases ever for an athlete ever in the history of criminal athletes. I would have been like, yo, I'm out. I'm going to a non-extradition country and you'll never see me again. Fuck it. I live my life there. There's no way they could steal all USC shit they want at that point. Fine. I'll let my lawyers handle it. Fuck it.
Exactly.
That's just crazy.
Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, there's a couple things at play here. One, OJ believes himself immortal, so that was one. He had people most of his life making him feel like he was above everything. Remember, he wasn't black; he was OJ. That's what he said.
The juice.
Right, he's the juice. Then he beat that case where anybody else would have went to jail, so he thought he was bulletproof, and he was not smart. The third and probably the most likely scenario is fucking cocaine is a hell of a drug. Because he had to be out of his mind on that to try to get that memorabilia back. Yeah, I mean,
he should have listened to Afro Man instead. Because I got high off of some weed. That's it. And then maybe that would have sat his ass down. But we gotta move through this. So if we want to talk about somebody that's mentioned, we'll do that. TJ and Jamal, y'all can go back and forth. I agree with TJ, but I will mention the one name that I add to my list that is not on either of y'all's list. Rest in peace to Nancy and his son. But Chris Benoit. He makes the top criminal athletes list for obvious reasons. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time at one point, you know what I'm saying? I do the unfortunate thing of compartmentalizing the human being versus the character in the ring. One of the greatest wrestlers I think we've ever seen. Took his craft seriously, but too serious to the point that gave him the head injuries, this, or better known as CTE and all that other stuff that, drove this man out of his head to go kill his wife, kill his child, and then kill himself. One of the most deplorable, absolutely most disgusting acts that, as a parent, I could never imagine.
Mhm.
But he definitely makes the top criminal athletes list, in my opinion. TJ.
Yeah, my list was composed of all NFL dudes. I don't know if that's an indictment on the league or it per se, or
Right now, y'all are gonna go one for one each. Don't run the whole list yet, but
all right.
go one
So,
for one.
all right, I start. The top of my list was Sir Ray Caruth,
Yes,
and if
sir.
you don't know about Ray Caruth, you're definitely missing out on the disgusting, despicable person that Ray Caruth is, and sending a hitman to go kill his baby's mother and his child. The child lives, thank God.
Autistic child at that.
Right, right.
Hmm.
And it was just there was the reason he did it didn't even make sense. The reason he did it didn't even make sense. The man could have more than covered his child support expenses for this woman and his child. And that was just the straw that broke the camel's back, and he chose violence instead, which
Yep.
was absolutely disgusting.
Hid in the trunk.
Yeah.
Hid in a trunk to escape arrest.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. But shout outs to his son, who I think like a year or two ago graduated college recently. So big ups to the young man for doing good things.
Persevering,
Yes,
persevering.
persevering. Absolutely, Jamal.
Yeah, that was yeah. The whole Ray Carew thing. That was actually originally on my list and I pulled that off. Um, but the top of my list is a fighter by the name of James Butler, uh, Harlem resident, contender, sort of a contender. And what James is infamous for is he murdered Sam Kellerman, who was the brother of Max Kellerman. And
Oh,
yeah,
that was the hammer
so
joint.
yeah, man. So James was struggling. He was trying to make his biggest fight was against a dude named Sven Ock. Sven Ock was undefeated over in Europe. Never really wanted to fight Roy Jones, anybody like that. But James lost that fight. Um, he had a charity fight of 9/11, and he lost this fight to a fighter named Richard Grant. Uh, and at the end of the fight, Richard Grant came over to shake hands, and Butler took out his glove and jawed him and broke his jaw, and served time for that. Later on, even throughout his whole career, Sam Kellerman was one of his biggest supporters. Sam Kellerman moved out to L.A., got got an apartment or whatever. And James said, "Look, I'm training again. Can you help me out? I need a place to stay." Sam Kellerman let this dude live with him in his apartment in Hollywood. And I guess whatever happened between them, he basically told him you had to leave soon. And so he killed old boy with a hammer and then turned on the gas in the apartment and tried to torch the body. And then turned himself into a psychiatric ward, made claims of being bipolar, and eventually got caught. He was suspect number one. And now he's serving, I think he got 30 years for that. So that was the top of my list.
Yo,
That's
I
incredible.
remember this. I remember this.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, because I pulled up the YouTube video to look at it, the post fight shit, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember this situation.
That made the news.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I remember this shit.
Yep.
He went to go hug him, and
Bam.
bang,
Yeah. Broke his jaw. Dude needed 26 stitches in his tongue.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
TJ,
My next person, the most infamous. He got documentary about him, Netflix, the whole shit. his storied alleged career was Mr. Aaron Hernandez,
Yep.
who was just an evil person from day one, and
Yeah.
and manipulated people to the fullest to get what he wanted, and got his way into the NFL after a real shady college career.
Yeah.
And your man was in a gang from day one, and he lived by his code, and he went down by his code
Yep.
from beginning to end.
Yep.
And it made no sense after he made it millions of dollars. He was on his way to be a superstar in the NFL.
Dude, he
And
did he did the incident. He did the incident right after signing a 40 plus $1 million, I think 3-4 year contract with the Patriots. 40 something $1 million the man was about to make, and decided to be a gangbanger instead.
he was for the streets, as they say. He was
Terrible.
for the
That was on my
streets.
list too. He was on my list too. That was an easy, obvious one. Like, and some people will call it the coward's way out. I call it he did the right thing and hanging it up.
Hmm.
He hung
Just
himself
terrible.
up, and that was it.
Yeah, terrible, terrible. He leaves a wife and kid behind,
Mm-hmm.
and
Who the
and that's what.
wife was? Who the wife was also like riding like she was a part of
Yeah,
the gang too.
yeah, yeah. And you know, as a child, you got to grow up. If you got to change your name because you're gonna look up your pops on the internet, and it ain't gonna be good. It ain't gonna be good for no ever, forever. Your pops was a terrible person
Yep.
for all his life. For all his
Ne-
life. That's
Next,
horrible.
Didn't they say that his brain was the most one of the most damaged they'd ever seen for CTE? And Hernandez?
him and Junior Seau's. Yeah.
Yeah. They said that was one of the worst cases they'd ever seen.
The next
Incredible.
on your list, Jamal.
Next on my list is Lawrence Phillips, former running back
Ooh.
of the Cornhuskers, teammate of Tommy Frazier. Caught some charges in while at Nebraska. I think he had a little bit of a small trial right after the national championship. Continued into the NFL, bounced around. He had some behavioral issues, caught a couple of domestic violence charges, and choked out his baby's mama. What's her name? Amalia Weissler. And I think also he drove a car into teenagers, didn't he?
Oh, I
I
don't know about that one.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember that one because when you dropped Lawrence Phillips' name, I totally forgot how, and I believe he's still in jail to this day.
I just
I think
remember
he
him
killed
beating
himself.
people.
Yeah,
I just remember him
yeah,
just beating people recklessly all the time.
bro.
Like,
Yeah. He was playing like a pickup game in I don't know. He was playing a pickup game of football with a bunch of teenagers in LA, and some ish went down afterwards, and they said he drove out of the street. He drove his car and ran over 2 to 3.
oh
Yeah,
my
as I
So
God.
said.
yeah, so he got cleaned up, and I think also he killed his cellmate when he was in
Yes.
jail.
Yes,
Killed his
yes, yes,
cellmate,
yes. Yes, he did.
and he was awaiting trial, and then he was found unresponsive in his cell. Committed suicide, but we'll see. Who knows? But yeah, his rap sheet of just laying hands on people was extensive.
Mhm.
And just going off. He was on a run. That was a spree what he was doing. So I put it there. Another gentleman who's probably could have. I don't know if they say his family was thinking about donating his body for study, but it would have been interesting to see what his brain study was.
Mm. Next on your list, TJ.
Another vile human being uh, committed another despicable act. Mr. Darren Sharper of
Yes.
the New Orleans Saints, All Pro.
Former Cowboy too, right?
Yeah, former Cowboy.
Super Bowl winner at that.
Yes, yep. Had all the accolades. Was a standout cornerback, safety, and had a long, long history of sexual abuse towards women. I don't know how he got away with it for so long, honestly. Um, the man is a very vile, despicable human being, and the acts he committed against these women were atrocious. He beat some women damn near half inch of their life. You know, he destroyed countless women's lives, and this went on for several years. And like I said, for him to get away with it for so long was incredible. They caught him after he retired, which was even more insane. So, I mean, Darren Sharper definitely up there on the crime team as one of the most disgusting individuals on the planet.
Yep. Jamal, next on your list. I think Darren Sharper wasn't on mine. I think everybody else on yours is, TJ.
Next on my list was Pete Rose, which is, his crime isn't as everyone else's, but not alleged, dude bet on baseball and got his lifetime ban. But I don't know how his cheating is any worse than 30 years of people juicing in baseball and probably still doing it, and they getting into the Hall of Fame. So I don't understand what the difference is. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
This whole baseball got such shitty unwritten rules, this integrity of the game crap with the bat flipping and not being able to celebrate when you hit a home run, but pitchers can catch the Ultimate Warrior vibes when they strike you out and shit. So it was dumb, what Pete did, but I just think I chose that one just for the absurdity of
Right.
him just not being allowed in the Hall of Fame. Based on his play alone, he should have been allowed. I mean, I feel the same way about Barry Bonds, but I think he should have been in because
Yeah.
as much as they made him the poster child for juicing, we now know in retrospect how many other folks was juicing during that time. And Barry Bonds, I'm sure he knew other folks was juicing, and he kept it a buck and just took all that fucking heat and he never named nobody.
Barry Bonds never tested positive in a season. Barry Bonds, and I'll repeat, Barry Bonds never tested positive in a season.
Bingo.
He admitted. Did he admit it when he retired? He said he was jealous. He admitted that much. But Pete Rose, the problem with Pete Rose, he was betting on his teams to win. He never bet to point shave or to lose. He was gambling against his own team to win. And because he wasn't honest about it when he asked. When he was asked, he wasn't honest about it. They kept him out until he finally came off of it. And then they was thinking about it. And then I think he said something else crazy. I forgot what it was. They pulled that shit right back. Like, you know what? Fuck you. Which is a damn disgrace because he did that as a manager. But as a player, I believe he did bet as a player too. But again, bet on his team to win. Mm-hmm. How do you keep one of these single greatest hitters in the out? But it goes back to, like you said, Jamal, unwritten rules in baseball is bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of bullshit in baseball, and that's a part of the reason why they suffer the problems they do with popularity as is today. TJ, who's on your next on your list?
Last but not least, the king of laying hands on people, whether it's strippers in strip clubs to people in the airport, Mr. Adam Pac-Man Jones.
He wasn't on my list.
This nigga never turned down a fight ever in his life.
That's right. He squared up with the dude in Queens, right? And Kennedy, right?
He doesn't matter. He will see you. He will see you whenever you want to be seen.
so much so that TNA Wrestling capitalized off of that, and I believe made that man a tag team champion.
Oh, word! I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in TNA wrestling for a very brief time. Yeah,
Wow. Wow. Pac-Man Jones did never see a fight that he could not win, lose, draw, whatever. He was ready to throw down hands when the hands needed to be thrown down in. I mean, we all wish we had a friend like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you
or a
call
friend like
Pac-Man,
this.
Pac-Man, make it rain when and he asks for it back.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. But no, it was Pac-Man who wasn't on my list because I didn't see a person that just didn't mind fighting fans as a criminal as much. You know what I'm saying? He did spend a couple hours here and there with jail time and shit for arrests and stuff. But no, Darren Sharper was on the list. Pac-Man wasn't. That's where I had Chris Benoit instead.
Okay. Okay.
Jamal, I believe we're up to your last one.
My last one is, I got away from the the murder stuff, and my last one is Irving Fryer. And
Ooh, white
Irving
collar
Fryer
crime.
got clinked up. Him and his moms was getting multiple mortgages and using the same property as collateral for each. And the
Wow.
thing is, he had the money to get all these properties in the bank. And he put Mom Dukes in trouble. They was both on trial down here in South Jersey. And yeah, he did a nickel for that. And they gave his mom's I think they gave her 3 years probation. I think he ate a lot of the stuff that his mom's actually did, because you can't let moms go to
He had to.
I think
He had
they
to.
were both facing a 10 spot, and but I think he got 5 for it. But yeah, they was doing a mortgage scam.
That gets chalked up to the dumb nigga files.
I just don't understand when you have money that you need to scam people out of more money to get more money. Like, there's so many other ways to get money when you're famous, just off your name alone,
Yeah, man.
that you have to go out and scam people for it.
We just heard about that with the NBA guys who scammed the league out of the insurance money.
Yeah, but and those
Shout
were
out,
B League, C League dudes. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even starters.
shout outs to Ed on this one. He said honorable mention Marvin Harrison. Dude has a body count. Drug dealers feared him.
That's right.
Hey, Marvin Harris, that was self defense. I remember one of them. It was in one of his bars, right? That he owned. That was self defense.
Thought it was a
So
car
Marvin
wash.
Harris,
Right. Yeah.
Marvin Harrison was Omar. Is that what we're saying? Omar Little from The Wire.
Gotta have a code, right? Amen, gotta have a code.
Mind
But
the
the
truth
code,
on Sundays.
don't mind the truth on Sunday. But with that being said, y'all, we're done. This was cool. Good conversation mid show. Talked about the killers and dealers and stealers. It said Marvin Harrison had the old school shotties. He had that rusty 6-shooter that girl had in that
In the
meme
mid-
going around. Had the rusty dusty. But y'all know what to do, Jamal. You know what to do.
That's what's up. Yeah. Appreciate y'all having me on. Shout out to Mayor again for allowing me to come on these weeks. Shout out to brother TJ. Shout out to Grandpa JP, wherever you may be, brother. I know we're gonna hear from JP one way or the other after the Knicks Sixers game. Shout out to the Starting Five podcast. Shout out to Open Run. Shout out to the Soap Dealer. Shout out to everyone. Check the post if you haven't checked the post that's already been in the group regarding this upcoming Uno tournament. Get your game in. Come test yourself against some of the best Uno players around. See if you can take on the top boss as well. Want to give one shout out to the good brother Kamaru Dean Usman of UFC.
Yes.
For his big win over the Magadouche Kobe Covington last night.
He did beat him again. I'm glad.
He did, yo.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Kobe's a tough dude. He ate them shots. He was mounting a little comeback. He had some good rounds late, but he was already in a hole enough where them first 2 or 3 rounds, Kamaru dropped him a few times with some good shots. So, and it was wild because the octagon was slippery, but that's a whole nother story. But you just giving him a shout out and shout out to the group.
Word up, word up, word up. Shout out Jamal. Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who participated in the comments today. Love your response. Thanks again for listening to the show. Shout out to you, Mr. Mayor, for putting on another great show on the platform here. As you know, I love doing this shit, and I continue loving doing this. As the brother Jamal said, please, everybody who think they got the skills to pay the bills, jump on this Uno tournament. Over $1,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs. I don't know anybody who doesn't need an extra seat, extra rack that they can get in on. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely there for the taking. Shout out to all the people involved with that. The open run sponsored by Mr. Thelonious Monk, aka Will Strickland, and the soap dealer, aka Lizette Ruiz, and the Starting Five podcast. Get yourself involved, get in that tournament, and make a run and try to get some of that cash. Shout out to everybody. This was another great show. Never forget #Disabled Planets.
Never ever forget that. And no need to recite the Uno stuff again. These good brothers took care of that already. Just make sure you hit that Eventbrite link that's up in the group. It's in the announcements posts. Sign up. I'm not sure how many spots are left. Every matchup that we select to be featured in the group will go. Excuse me. I'm sorry for being rude and eating on camera too, y'all. I was hungry. But every featured match, every matchup that we choose to feature, all the way up to the final four and the final round, we'll be choosing a match each week or each day to pick to show live in the group, where we're gonna interview, talk with whoever's on it, and just talk shit, have fun. So make sure y'all find that Eventbrite link. It was the first link I posted up in the group. On this link, I'm gonna post it again. It's even though it's coming up under YouTube, but please click that link. I'll go to Facebook right now and make sure I put that link there. Also, hit that Eventbrite link to sign up to the Uno tournament, and that's that. So everybody here, everybody watching, thanks to got up to 6 of y'all this week. I'll accept that. It's cool. It's cool. We growing slowly, but we'll take it. For everybody in the comments, everybody here, everybody not here, everybody who believes in this shot, everybody who believes in immunizations. It's me. I'm saying peace.
Peace.
We'll see y'all next
Peace out,
week
y'all.
with the new Disabled Planet.